problem with most diets is that they want to take the idea of normal eating as the starting point and base the diet on that. So you have low calorie options and guilt-free snacks, because if someone can be convinced that the food is healthy, then it will make them think that all they need to do is stick to the diet and they will lose weight. And this is what I see when clients come to me. They want to eat normally and manage to lose weight at the same time. They want to be able to enjoy family meals, celebrations and holidays without putting on weight each year. And the idea of low-calorie desserts and snacks fits into this. They lead you to believe that you can eat like a normal person without the weight gain that would usually be associated with eating these treats. But the problem with this logic is that more than half the adult population in the UK is overweight. The Health Study for England in 2017 found that 64% of the adults in the UK are classified as overweight or obese. So if the average person is overweight, then eating like a normal person means eating like a person who is overweight. But the people who come to me don't want that. They don't want the results of a normal person. And talking about what is normal is really interesting, because what is normal changes over time. For example, take smoking. When I was younger, you could smoke anywhere, at work, in pubs, even on planes. How crazy is that? I've mentioned before, when I went travelling in the late 1990s, we flew to South Africa, and my friend and I were in the last row of non-smoking seats before the smoking section started, as if the smoke knew only to settle at the back of the plane. I mean, it was awful. Now, smoking is not normal. You can get arrested for smoking on a plane. Could you imagine subjecting half the plane who don't smoke to the smell for a long-haul flight? So why now is it normal to be overweight? The reason is that we have normalised the eating of foods which don't serve our body. So we have cake to celebrate, champagne, puddings if you eat out or at a dinner party, sweets at the cinema. These are all normal things for us to eat and for us to want to eat. And if someone is trying to eat in a way that is not normal, then we challenge them on that. We say, why aren't you drinking tonight? Or go on, have a little bit of cake or dessert. You've earned it. Or you don't need to lose weight. Why are you saying no? It is perfectly normal for someone to say these sorts of things to us if we're trying to cut down on the treats that we are eating. But could you imagine what would happen if, on a night out, someone asked whether you really needed another drink? Or if at a buffet, when someone is piling their plate up with food, would you say, do you really need all that sugar? That would not be normal. That would be really rude, because it is normal to overeat sugar and to drink alcohol. And when we look at just one meal, for example, breakfast, we think it's normal to eat cereal and fruit juice. Is this because it's the best option for us? Do we find that it keeps us fueled until lunch? No, it's because the cereal companies tell us that it is the best option for us. Marketing plays a huge role in telling us what is normal when it comes to eating. We are being sold a lifestyle, and it is fueling our desire for things that don't serve us. It is important to recognise this if we want to change our desire for food and our eating patterns. So I've been eating in the way that I set out in my first DIY video for several years now. If you've watched it, then it's not complicated. Essentially, I try to stay away from sugar and white flour, and I limit my starchy carbs, potatoes, rice, to when I have a higher energy requirement. Really, it's quite straightforward. But whenever I go to stay with my sister, she'll say, well, I don't know what you're eating at the moment, as if I'm only eating things beginning with the letter C or something random like that. And she's not being rude or unhelpful when she's talking like this. She just doesn't understand how I'm eating because in her eyes, it's not normal. It's not how she is used to eating. It's not how we were brought up eating. And that is one of the challenges if you want to change your eating habits. You have to accept that if you want to carry on eating normally, nothing will change. You have to be prepared to accept a change to what is normal and adapt to that so that it becomes the new normal. But this time, the new normal is a relationship with food that does give you the results you want. And what is normal in relation to food has changed over the years too. In the 1950s, having 3 meals a day was normal. Now, the norm is to have 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. But the problem with snacking is that it increases our ghrelin levels. Now, ghrelin is a hormone which when released signals hunger to the brain. And the timing of ghrelin release is affected by our normal eating patterns. So if you always have a snack at 10 a.m, then you will always feel hungry at 10 a.m. because ghrelin is released. So now that we know we are going to be hungry mid-morning and mid-afternoon, we try to find a healthy snack to keep us going. We're not looking at what we can change for lunch or breakfast to fuel us so that we don't need to eat a snack. And diet companies come to the rescue with snack bars and under 100 calorie snacks so that we never need to feel hungry when we are on our diet. Except these snacks are full of additives and fillers and won't actually keep us fueled until our next meal. But instead then of blaming the diet for not teaching us how to eat properly and how to keep our body fueled correctly, we blame ourselves when the diet fails, for lacking willpower, for giving up, for always failing when it comes to weight loss. One way to work out what you need to change when you look at your diet is to think about food as fuel. If you only ate for fuel, then what would you change about the way that you eat? And the difficulty with viewing food in this way is all the times we eat when we are not hungry. So when we're stressed or we're tired, overwhelmed, bored, or on the opposite side of the emotional scale, when we're celebrating and happy. And we have to work out how to deal with our emotions if we're not going to use food. If you take away the safety net of food, then you will need to put something else in its place. And you have to think about how you would enjoy yourself or entertain yourself or cheer yourself up without using food. It's only when you can separate food from emotion that you can really take control of your diet and begin to create a new normal for yourself and for your relationship with food and eating.